once again, though, and this is the next story here. We are once again hoping,
spoiler alert,
that the Hornets do this sign and trade, which is not certain. They
don't have any reason not to. That's the thing.
Right. What I'm saying is that's always been the case. So that's why it was surprising at first when the report was they were just going to renounce Batum and his.
That would have been dumb.
The $9 million, which essentially made Gordon's $39 million a year, because that would have been dead money there. Yeah. They would have had to eat, and they were fine. They seemed fine to do it. So we're not. This isn't even a done deal. This isn't certain. Again, this fantasy land, we don't even have – the Celtics haven't even made that trade to get the cap space to theoretically sign a guy with whom they haven't actually been tied to, who may or may not have any interest in playing here. I mean, how many theoretical things are we going to throw out here to make ourselves feel better that they fucked up the offseason? Like, yeah. I mean – these
Celtics fans better get used to Aaron Nesmith, man. I'm telling you, you better hope that's your shooter off the bench, because that's it. That's the reality of it. You know.
So yeah, let's go back to that Indiana trade, which is what we would have been feeling good about if they.
I don't want to, man. I'm gonna get pissed off, Bobby. I'm gonna get pissed off.
You really wanted that if it would have been McDermott and Turner, and that's it.
1,000%.
Here's my.
Do you like the alternative, Bobby? You like nothing?
It feels like there's some added flexibility here at the very least, and you get Thompson instead of Turner, which I'm 100% happy about. Turner's not necessarily a better player than Thompson at this point.
Yeah, but I think it was
going forward. But
I think it was ridiculous, Bobby. I think it was ridiculous for Danny Ainge to even expect that they would give up someone like T.J. Warren, who averaged like 35 points in the bubble. Like, what are you, crazy? Like, I think he was reaching there. Like, I think this was his way of saying, I'm not going to lose this trade. And he walked away from it. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not as devastating, but time will tell, right? I mean, we'll see what happens in the future, but this could come back to bite him for sure.
So unless I missed something, those were also pretty vague or loose reports, right? Coming out of what the Celtics were interested in getting back. Do we even know that Indy had a competitive offer to give Gordon Hayward? Do we even know that?
We don't know a lot of things. We also don't know.
So
that's because Michael Jordan swooped in and dropped his on everybody, and it was a wrap.
I think it was
the bag.
The rumor was Indy's offer was $100 million, which comes in short, of course.
So Jimmy, where are you getting with this?
My point is this: did Indy have an offer on the table for Gordon Hayward that Danny Ainge held up? Do we know that as true? I don't know we do. So that's why my criticism of, listen, you let Gordon Hayward go, yeah, that's criticism in and of itself. But I'm not going to sit here and say, how could Danny be so greedy or how could he be so ridiculous where he wouldn't accept that off? He wouldn't accept that return. We don't even know that that was a legitimate option. We don't.
Yeah, but you know that they were having conversations, Jimmy, and
but we don't know
somewhere in the middle could have agreed with something though.
He's right. We don't know. There's two totally different scenarios here. If Ainge could have pulled off this trade at any point in time, hung on a little bit because he didn't really believe there was a team out there like us, was looking around saying I don't think the Knicks in Atlanta are real, didn't really see Charlotte coming in this thing and thought, I kind of have some control here, overplayed it, waited too long, and that was that. And that Gordon and Indiana and everybody would have been happy 2 weeks ago, a week ago, doing this whenever they could have started doing their deals. And he let that go. That's bad.
Which you couldn't do 2 weeks ago.
But what is more likely than not is the Indiana thing just drove up the price for Charlotte, who came in and just got it done, and that Gordon was going to wait and see, knowing that Indiana was always a fallback scenario, and that Charlotte just came in and did it, and there's probably nothing. Probably, but we don't know.
It was Gordon Hayward's choice at the end of the day. I mean, he wanted to go. Maybe he wanted to go to Indy, and maybe Indy didn't want him enough, or maybe Gordon Hayward was waiting it out for a bigger offer, and Charlotte came over the top.
Maybe Charlotte has better cheese shops.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, it's difficult to say, right, Jimmy? I mean, let's face it. It's almost a moot point, right? Because Michael Jordan just threw him the bag. So it's like, regardless of what the deal was, if you're Gordon Hayward, which option were you going to take, you know?
But if you're Gordon Hayward, I mean, Gordon Hayward's agent, maybe you had an idea that some offer like this was coming or possible.
Let me ask you guys
maybe that's
this.
part of the reason why it was on ice.
Let me ask you guys this. Would you rather have Myles Turner and Doug McDermott right now, or Tristan Thompson and $37 million to use on a trade later? Because that's what it came down to here. I mean, there's a real chance the Celtics looked at what Indiana was offering and said, it's not worth going into the tax for this, for Myles Turner and Doug McDermott. Now we have flexibility. We can use that mid-level exception to get a really good player in Thompson, and we can make a trade later in the season. So I'm going to hold out. They have to do something after this, like a Bogdan. It doesn't have to be Bogdan. That's why I say metaphor. And then we'll judge them there.
Yeah, but see, that's the problem, Bobby. I don't like Danny Ainge's recent
trade. I don't
trade.
think it means what you
If you look at Danny trying to pursue trades lately, it's not looking good, man. Like, he hasn't been able to successfully pull one off, right? It's been a while. Trader Danny's he's on a cold streak, right, fellas? Like, come on, like.
Oh, don't write.
Let's just hope he pulled a trade off. Like, I don't know if that's necessarily the move.
I like Tristan Thompson a lot. I didn't like Myles.
You like Bobby. You are in love with the idea of this player that's going to come in and save the day.
I am, for sure.
You would rather just have that exception, just indefinitely, and just be able to say, oh well, they could do this, or they could do that. Or the problem
with the exception,
they never do it, then it doesn't help them.
The problem with the exception is you do need stuff to give with it to entice for a player like that. The hope is, as you start playing these young guys throughout the year, as you start to have them prove themselves more, as you get into a year and see options that you like toward the trade deadline, you're in a better position to make a trade than you are right now.